Our verse today is Psalm 145, verse 8. The Lord is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. Psalm 145 is an acrostic psalm. It means each line begins with the Hebrew alphabet sequentially. Our verse begins with the Hebrew letter Het. The psalmist begins by praising God's greatness, and he says, generation to generation proclaim God's mighty works in verses 1 to 7. And our verse says, Hanun verachom Yahweh erek apayim ugedal chesed. The Lord is gracious and compassionate, slow to anger, and great in steadfast love. These exact words are found in the book of Exodus. After Moses broke the first 2 tablets of the 10 commandments because of the sin of the golden calf, God asked him to come up the mountain with 2 new tablets to write the commandments again. When Moses got on top of Mount Sinai, we read these words. The Lord descended in a cloud and stood with him there and proclaimed the name of the Lord. The Lord passed before him and proclaimed, the Lord, a God merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness, keeping steadfast love for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, but who will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children and the children's children to the 3rd and the 4th generation. Exodus 34, 5 to 7. A strong point to note from this verse is that God proclaimed his name along with these words, a God merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness. That is the nature of God. His nature is to show mercy, to be gracious. He's never angry with us the way we act, and he's full of love. We also see in this passage that God's anger only lasts to the 3rd and the 4th generation, but his steadfast love endures for thousands. In other words, his anger does not stay long. No matter how we offend him, he forgives us once we turn to him. But his love continues to follow us for 1,000 years. When the psalmist utters these words, he stands on God's revelation to Moses. What does it mean to be gracious, merciful, and abounding in steadfast love? The Hebrew verb hanan means to yearn towards, to long for, favorable, and inclined towards. But hanun, as an adjective meaning gracious, is only used as an attribute to God. Read Exodus 34 verse 6, Psalm 86 verse 16, and 2 Chronicles chapter 30 verse 9. For God to be gracious is to be inclined to, long for, and yearn to meet his children's needs, showing them a favor. In the same way, the adjective rahum, compassionate, is always used for God in the Hebrew Bible, and it comes from the word racham or rechem, which means womb. Therefore, being compassionate is compared to how the mother cares for the baby in her womb. That is the way God cares, guides, and protects us jealously. All these he does out of his chesed, his steadfast love, kindness, faithfulness, and grace. That love which we do not merit from him, but given to us because that is the very nature of God, to love his creatures. This verse should console us today, that God is there no matter what is going on around us, no matter how much we have offended him. Let us turn to him and ask him to pour out his graciousness, mercy, and loving kindness upon us. He will when we turn to him. Lord, you are gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. May we continue to enjoy this loving kindness in every aspect of our lives. Amen. God bless you. Have a lovely day.